Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Tuesday morning. Got a big show lined up, but first, our weather is always brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Always encouraging folks to look at the technical careers. A lot of opportunities out there, and we're just proud to have them part of our partners here on Panhandle Outdoors. It's going to, this whole week, it's just, it's going to be foggy in the morning. It's not going to get cold. It's going to be like 72 high. Well, today's high is 74. Low this week's going to be in the 60s. Might have a little bit of rain Thursday, just sort of a mild day, almost like, I won't say springtime. It's just some really mild days. It's not January weather, but, it's just be prepared for not like a 10-degree difference, and there's not much movement at all, but a lot of humidity, so be ready for that. River reading is brought to us right now by ourselves. The Apalachicola Bluntstown at 17.6, and it is high. It's been high for a while. The Choctaw at Caryville is at 11, right? 11. It's going up, and we talked about this on yesterday's show about it going up with all the rain we've been having. So both rivers are really high. We'll talk about it when they highlight that. You can, the good part, you can sort of get up in the sloughs, but a lot of I saw an email from a person sent it to another person, but they were talking about how they were on the river over the weekend after all that wind and all. There was so much floating debris on the river system. I know it was in the bay too, so anytime we had the wind like we did on Saturday and into Sunday and all, it's just, it was amazing how much stuff it blew over. But we're going to talk about that wind a little bit later on in the show. Looking at the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, looking at low tide at 9:33 this morning and a high at 11:55 tonight. It'll be aided a little bit by just a little bit of wind coming out of southeast at about 4 to 5. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's get caught up on our pictures, our Panhandle Picture Parade. Let's start off with our buddy David Bender. David, one of my former students, he hadn't been able to fish a while. He and his wife just had a baby, so he was able to get out on the water. This was Sunday afternoon. So he went out and caught him. That was a nice redfish. We're talking about the redfish in the wintertime. That's a good one right there, David. Good job. I'm glad you're back on the water. I know you were happy. Read this story of Dana Sewell. Cole, there are no words to describe how awesome today was seeing Taylor get her first deer. Sweet girl stole our hearts. This is part of the Camo Dream. Took Taylor out this past weekend, and this is really, look at there, a nice buck. Okay, good job, young lady. We're very proud of you. Camo Dream, Derek Fussell, and Dana helps them out there. That old puppy there. Everybody's happy. Okay, go ahead and put it on your calendar now, the M&J Catfish Tournament. They do a series, and this is a 2020 tournament schedule. There's $100 per boat, and they give 100% back. I always like it when 100% payback. You weigh in 5 fish, and looking at some of the places, it's going to be Georgia, Alabama, Florida, but that March the 14th now is going to be right over here in Sneads. They're going to have one May 16th in Sneads, and then right in the middle, all those Sneads at a boat ramp, at Paramore Boat Ramp. And you start, remember now, most of these you start at 5 p.m. and then you fish all night till the next morning, and except for the first early ones up in Alabama. So that's a neat deal. It's called the M&J Tournament right there, okay? You can look it up online if you want to win some money catching a big old catfish. Winston, my grandson Chandler, turned 8 years old December 19th and killed his first deer December the 29th. 8 years old. The day of his great-grandfather's death. This is a neat story. The gun he killed it with is a Marlin 30-30. He is the 5th one to kill one with this gun after his poppy, his uncle, his mother, and his cousin John. Great show, keep it going. And here he is right here. And what a family legacy to keep that old 30-30 gun and to pass it down and to be successful generation after generation of gun. I shot my first deer. I took my first deer with that gun right there, Marlin 30-30. And what a great gun for young people to learn on. Cool job. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, talking about high fence deer. How about high fence fish? Okay, daggum, high fence fish. Tina Stanford Rutherford, good job. You got it on a birthday. Nice buck, Tina. Good hunter there. Nice buck. Over here in St. James Bay, this was sent, a picture was taken by Jake Doris. St. James is down on the other side of Carabel. You got St. Teresa, St. James Bay, a lot of Tallahassee folks go there. But check that out. Is that not great camouflage right there? Fascinating. That's just a great picture. The shadows and all. Okay, Salmon Soul up there in West Bay. Okay, he sent me this nice buck he got over the weekend. That family, Soul family, been up there in West Bay. They were some of the founding families of West Bay, Florida. It goes way back to the 1800s. That family been up there. And here's one he got up here in Georgia on November 8th in Covington, Georgia. Hunting still runs great in this family. This was a neat email I got from Donnie Copper. Hey, Coach, been a loyal viewer for a few years now. Picked up a lot of fishing spots from your Friday fishing forecast. Thought you'd appreciate how I've logged all of these on Google Maps. Really appreciate all you do for our area. So what is cool, when I give these Friday, and I started looking at it, that's all my old fishing spots. Well, of course, Cape San Blas, that's exactly the places I go. And then over here, St. George Island, I looked at those places, Carabel, and then Dog Island on the far right, and then come back up here at the beach and all, and the Bay System, Lynn Haven. Okay, all these spots I go. So that's Winston Chester fishing spot. And Donnie got it marked right there. So I'm glad, I'm glad to see that, Donnie. Okay, I get a lot of these folks. No longer able to hunt or fish, but live each moment through the eyes of those you show on your program each day. Enjoy each day while you can. Please put Rodney Johnson and Minnie Johnson in for drawing up in Kindred. Folks, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. There's so many people. Right there is a great testimony. So many people watch our show that for some various reason maybe not can get out and do it, but they still love seeing it. So when you send these pictures, send these stories along with these pictures, it just makes them feel good, brings back great memories, and it makes a lot of times it'll make their day to see that. So that's one of the driving forces that keep me going. Emails like that, and you're part of it and sharing this stuff and all. So speaking of that, I just want to share this with you. This really has nothing to do with outdoors. I just want to, my high school class, we'll get together about 3 or 4 times a year and just have a luncheon up there in Quincy. Just a luncheon at the country club. And one of my high school buddies I've known since elementary school, Bradford May, and we're going to, I've had the May house out at Emerald Crest, but they were able to buy this house. This house, both families, the families owned it were the original settlers of Quincy. And then Bradford's family, original settlers in Gaston County. So anyway, Bradford and his wife ended up at this house not too long ago. But after we had a lunch at the club, we went out to Bradford's house. It's right here in town. It's like the same block at high school. But what I want to share with you, this house was built in 1845. And you know how I love history and all. And the year 1845 rings a bell with me because that's the year Florida became a state. It went from a territory to a state, thanks to the Constitutional Convention at Port St. Joe, where everybody came in and said, oh, we're going to be a state. And then Florida became a state, and that house was built then. And it's in immaculate shape. Now, it's had its work done on it through the years and all, but you walk in, you think you're in the 1840s, you're looking at some of the original furniture in it. And I just have a deep appreciation of people preserving our history and not bulldozing down those old houses or let them just dilapidate us. Or the family that had it for generation after generation, they're in a assisted living, and their children lived out of town, so they sold it to Bradford, and because they knew he and his wife would take care of it. But I posed. I sent my son this picture, and I'm not trying to pose. These are boxwood hedges, and I've always been fascinated. This is the biggest boxwood hedge I've ever seen in my life. I want to stand next to it. My son's in nursery and landscaping, and I said, have you ever seen a boxwood hedge this big? And actually, 2 of them outside the house. So I don't know how many, if they're 100 years old or not, but I've never seen them that big. But just an appreciation of nature and wildlife and plants and landscaping and all we have and runs through our family, and a lot of our friends enjoy it. So I just wanted to share that with you, what we did last Friday after the show. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the variety of things we do. I enjoy doing a variety of things. If I just did the same thing every day, I'd be bored and wouldn't enjoy it and probably wouldn't do it. So that's why we throw out all kinds of stuff at you. Well, let's talk about fishing for a minute. What's really good this time of year. One of the viewers want to know about sheephead fishing, and I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. But let's talk about how to catch sheephead. First of all, let's look at them, identify them. That's a sheephead. And they're just cool fish. I've showed you the picture before of the actual their mouth and all. And here's the limit of you can get 8, and the minimum size is 12 inches and all that. But you know how. And here's somebody holding one right here. But look at those fins. Those fins are really stick you, but they're excellent. The edibility on sheephead, the meat is excellent. And here's how you catch them now. The best bait, of course, is a fiddler crab. Number one, let's talk about bait first. Number one is a fiddler crab, and if you can catch them, that because what they do. If this was a let's use this. If this was a piling, okay, so this is a piling on the bridge, and so have all these crustaceans on the bridge, okay, and what they'll do, like these are the crustaceans. Well, the sheephead will come pick it and will actually pick them off. So your goal is to and what a lot of the old timers will do, they'll get some kind of scraper and scrape down the piling like this, okay, and then these look at this. These crustaceans, watch this, these crustaceans will start falling off like that. I think I lost some. And they'll fall off like that, and then the sheephead will swim up here and they'll be feeding on it, and they'll also pick stuff off. So that's their feeding habit. Fascinating, and we've caught some nice sheephead. My dad was a good sheephead fisherman, and so they'll just pick off. So a fiddler crab is sort of similar. That's a natural bait. Number 2 natural bait would be like a clam, or some kind of like an oyster, okay? And the last but not least now, but if you can't find anything else, get some shrimp and put on the hook, okay? So you know what they do, the best bait to use in that order. So all those baits will be fairly easy to get. Now you may have trouble getting fiddler crabs now. And rigging, let's talk about rigging. Back in the day, we used to tie all kinds of knots and everything, and those days are over, for me anyway. I just go to Blue Water Outrigger. See right here's this sheephead rig. It's so, my pompano rigs, we used to try all that. Time to me, that time was wasted. I'm just going to go buy the rig. I don't mind paying for it, and it's already rigged up, and they're good rigs, they're well done. So this is a sheephead rig, and number one, you pull it out. You want to use braided line, and your leader, about 16 or 20 inch leader, and of course fluorocarbon, and that's the general run of the mill for everything now, and catching stuff like that. You braided line and then a fluorocarbon leader. Most people are doing that. But the hook, I want to talk about the hook. This is a really strong hook. Their mouth is really strong, so you want a really strong hook, and you want a super sharp hook, because you've seen those teeth. You've seen them. We've seen pictures of them. And they'll just nibble and all. And so that hook has really got to get embedded. So you really want to, even if you have a hook sharpener, if you've been using it a little while, you want to have a hook sharpener to keep that hook really, really sharp. And actually, this is a 2-hook rig, very similar to, it's a down rig, and very similar to, okay. And then of course on the weight, I've read both. I use a triangle weight, and talk about egg weight. Some people like to put the weight on top, but I like to put a weight on the bottom. And the reason is because they'll nibble. They're just going to nibble a little bit now. They're not going to come in, boom, and take off like a redfish or something like that. They're going to nibble, because that's how they used to eating off the pilings. So you got to have a very sensitive feel. You got to have a sensitive rod tip, a very lightweight rod tip, and you can spin a rod or bait caster. You can catch them both ways. But just remember, you really want to when they start nudging on you, you go ahead and hook them, okay? And you want to bring it up and just start reeling and try to get them away from the piling. Now, we're talking about the pilings. Now, another place, so where to go? Any kind of bridge pilings, of course, be number one choice throughout the year. In January and February now, they'll start spawning, and their spawning area will be around the rocks, around the jetties and all, and that's where we run into a problem with people catching a lot of them. And you always want to, the limit, they drop the limit down and all, so just be aware of that. So anyway, the sheephead, the edibility is excellent. I just want to make sure you understand the edibility. They're hard to clean a little bit, but they're a lot of fun. So any question on sheephead? I've got some videos I might pull up, but where we caught some before. But anyway, sheephead fishing is excellent. So wintertime sheephead fishing is what I'd recommend, January and especially February, as you're getting into March and getting ready for Spanish mackerel to come in. okay? And speaking of doing things outdoors, Saturday, I planned all for a long time. Saturday was going, I was really getting up early Saturday morning. I was headed for the woods. But I want to tell you something, I didn't go. Why didn't I go to the woods Saturday? I was scared. You hear the sound? I ain't scared. I really, with the wind, it's an odd situation. First time in my life that I didn't go to the woods because of situations that were sort of out of my control as far as weather. The way that wind was coming in Saturday morning, I got up and looked at it, went outside and all, and if we had not had Hurricane Michael, I would have gone anyway. But when Hurricane Michael came, if you go in the woods now and look around, there are so many limbs that have been broken off and are getting ready to fall. I'm not talking about little limbs like that, I'm talking about big old limbs. And I knew if I got out in the woods and up there in my property and out there by myself and one fell on me, he said, well, you got your phone to call people. I mean, I might have been knocked out by one or something, but I just made a decision not to go to the woods because of the wind. Never in my lifetime I made that decision, but I'm glad I did it. In my yard, I had a couple of limbs blown out in my yard that was, good sized limbs from that. That wind was ferocious all day. I know you know what I'm talking about, especially in exposed areas, and the woods now are a lot more exposed because the trees are blown down. So I just didn't, I didn't go. So anyway, sometimes you have to make a decision based on what nature dishes out to you. Same way, I don't think if I was out fishing Saturday either because of that wind. So I always try to, as you get older, you make wiser decisions. So it was easy for me to do once I sort of walked around and thought about it and looked at the forecast. And they were saying 10 to 15. It was about 30 to 35 at my house. Okay. All right. Let's get, speaking of doing things, let's go ahead and put some more names in our pickle jar with our scientific method. I hope we can do this okay. All right, y'all are good about sending names in. I like doing them every day. If not, we'll just get inundated with them. All the way from Southport, Mary Lee Walsh. Panama City Beach, Stan Bourne. And from Cottondale, Jerry Deese. All the way from Bear Creek, Jenny Melvin. And then Cottondale, thank you, Jeff. From Cottondale, Sandy Ormel. And also from Cottondale, Sambo Melvin. All right. Mary Melvin from Cottondale. Linda Cutts from Chipley. Bobby Davidson, St. Andrews. Pam Davidson, St. Andrews. From Ponce de Leon, Debbie Colmetz. From St. Andrews, Hayden Harrison. And also from Chipley, Jim Cutts. Ronnie Vincent, I assume in Panama City. Robert Colmetz, Ponce de Leon. Peyton Watson, St. Andrews. And we're looking at, from all the way from Southport, Michael Walsh. Okay, that catches up for today. Keep sending them in. And in fact, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to draw today. Right after this commercial, we're going to do a drawing. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Got to move along. We're running out of time. Let's take a look at our fishing game time from Blue Water Outriggers. We're looking at 3:09 a.m. to 5:09. And this evening, 3:36 to 5:36. Let's do our giveaway, our mystery tackle box. We get once a month now. We got some good stuff in it. This will be our first giveaway. Got some little information sheets and everything on how to do stuff and all. Look at here. How about, all right, here we go, jerk bait. There's a jerk bait right there. Nice jerk bait. And let's see, that's a Molix jerk bait. And Max Fisher, little feather jig right here, spinning blade, all right. And then, all right. H&H tackle. Look at all these tails. This is an excellent color. I'm telling you, I fish with this color right here. I don't know how they know that. They send it to me, and I would fish with that right there today. I really would, with a nice jig head. And then also from my buddies, Big Bite Bait. Well, okay, Big Bite. They're the ones in Eufaula, Alabama, and we've interviewed them at ICAST and all. These are made in Eufaula, and they've got some good stuff. The Big Bite Bait Company. So all of these. Okay, all of this is in here, and some more stuff. And we're going to draw for the winner of this month's mystery tackle box for the month of January. The winner is going to be, all the way from Panama City, Wanda Jones. There you go, Wanda. I know you might not fish with it, but I bet your husband will. But tell him you're going to fish with those, okay? All right, I want to move on real quick. A couple of announcements coming up. We got this Thursday now, the Arbor Day tree giveaway. It's going to be Extension Office. It's from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we're partnering. Here's what they're doing. Here's the They're partnering with the Florida Forest Service, but he said, look at all the trees. And they're going to start at 9 o'clock and continue all the trees. Okay, so it's probably going to end at, okay, go back. Now, here's my problem. I love doing this, and one of the things I didn't mention in my resolution was to plant more trees. I'm going to plant a lot of trees this year, and I was going to get some of them. But guess what? Thursday morning, I got to go to University Academy and be one of the history fair judges from 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So if some of y'all would pick me up a couple of trees, I'd appreciate it. So anyway, so go get you some trees, and they're going to be in gallon containers, and they're free. And Lord knows the Panhandle needs trees. I wanted to I want to mention this real quick. I read obituaries on a regular basis, and I enjoy the life stories of people and all. And this is one of our viewers. His daughter, J.D. Sasser, he was buried the other day, and I was just fascinated. His daughter called, and I thought I made a copy of it here, but let's see, I did right here. Anyway, here's part of the obituary. I won't go. He was a loyal viewer. He's from Weewall, lived up in Overstreet, and went on. But he loved watching Alabama football. He loved hunting and fishing, and so many of these obituaries talk about that. But his wife, his daughter was telling me how much he enjoyed the show. And even when they took him to the hospital in his last days, he wanted to make sure she turned the TV on so he could watch Panhandle Outdoors. And man, it almost brought tears to my eyes. And then this really did right here. Check this out, a scholarship. He wanted to do something. He loved these, watching the kids come on the show. So he started a J.D. Sasser, his family. Instead of flowers, he said, Daddy wouldn't want flowers. He'd rather this money go to the Outdoor Education Scholarship at Trustmark Bank. So he set this up. This means a lot to me, and it's going to mean a lot to the kids. The JD is going to be right there at Trustmark Bank, and if you want to contribute to that, you know it's going to go to some good young people. That's come from somebody who loves outdoors and a family who are dedicated to their dad's memory. And I have a lot of respect, and I appreciate that family right there, a lot of respect for them for what they're doing and all. And our condolences to the loss of your dad, and so many good folks who seem losing too much now. But we're going to just hang in there, do the best we can, and bring y'all the best show every day. Got to wrap it up. I've got some more stuff. We'll finish up tomorrow. Have a great day. Enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.